Parizaad, the heart beyond the veil. Gather around, friends, for a tale not of kings or conquerors, but of a man who waged silent wars against a world that refused to see him. His name was Parizaad, meaning child of a fairy, a name that sparkled with promise but felt like a bitter irony in a life that showed him little kindness. Parizaad was born into a humble home, where poverty was a constant guest. From his earliest days, the world noticed his dark skin and unremarkable features, traits that shouldn't define a soul but often do in a society quick to judge. His name, so poetic, became a taunt. Children mocked him, neighbors whispered, and strangers dismissed him with a glance. Yet Parizaad carried a light within that no one could dim. Unlike others his age, who chased games under the sun, Parizaad found solace in words. He wove poetry under the flicker of a dying lamp, crafting verses about longing, hope, and the quiet beauty of the night sky. His mind was a universe, vast and deep, where stars danced in rhythm with his dreams. He was gentle yet unyielding, a soul too profound for the shallow world around him. At school, he was invisible. Teachers overlooked him, their eyes gliding past the boy in the back row. Classmates jeered at his appearance, their laughter cutting deeper than any blade. But Parizaad had a shield: his poetry. At night, in a cramped room lit by a single bulb, he poured his heart onto scraps of paper. His words could make the heavens weep, if only someone would read them. Love found him too, as it often does the quiet ones. It was a love unspoken, a silent devotion to a girl whose smile lit up his world. He never dared confess, knowing the world would scoff at a boy like him dreaming of such beauty. His love was pure, like a river flowing without hope of reaching the sea. But fate, as it often is, was unkind. She married another, a man the world deemed worthy, and Parizaad's heart broke in silence. Life seemed determined to cast him into the shadows. A cruel twist came when a misunderstanding branded him a thief. With no one to defend him, Parizaad was forced to leave his home, his city, his past. He carried only a worn bag, a few tattered books, and a heart heavy with unspoken pain. He wandered, a stranger in a world that had never welcomed him. But sometimes, when every door slams shut, a window creaks open. In a new city, Parizaad found work as a laborer, then as an aide to a wealthy merchant. His honesty shone like a beacon, his quiet wisdom earning trust where others sought favor. He spoke little but observed much, his silence a strength that set him apart. The merchant, a man of few words himself, saw something in Parizaad, a spark of integrity that money couldn't buy. Years passed, and fate turned its wheel. The merchant, nearing the end of his life, left his empire to Parizaad in a will that shocked all who knew him. Overnight, the boy who had nothing became a man of wealth, power, and prestige. The world that once mocked him now bowed at his feet. But wealth is a fickle friend. It can mask wounds but never heal them. Parizaad traded his worn clothes for tailored suits, his cramped room for a sprawling mansion. He attended lavish gatherings, where chandeliers glittered and laughter echoed. Yet, in the midst of crowds, he felt more alone than ever. Women who once ignored him now fluttered around, their smiles as hollow as their intentions. Friends appeared, but their loyalty was tied to his fortune, not his heart. In this gilded world, Parizaad often wondered, who am I? A rich man with an empty soul? Or the poet who once dreamed beneath a flickering light? A few souls saw him for who he was. A blind girl, whose laughter warmed his coldest days, taught him that true sight comes from the heart. A wise mentor reminded him of the boy who found joy in simplicity. A loyal friend stood by him, not for wealth but for the man Parizaad had always been. These connections tethered him to his roots, reminding him of what truly mattered. The hardest lesson came when he crossed paths with his first love. Now struggling, she didn't recognize the man he'd become. Parizaad helped her from afar, never revealing his identity. When she finally learned the truth, her eyes held regret, but his heart held only ashes. The love he'd carried for years had faded, consumed by time and pain. One day, Parizaad made a choice that stunned the world. He walked away from it all: the mansion, the wealth, the false adoration. He returned to a quiet village, far from the city's clamor. There, he built a small school beneath the shade of an ancient banyan tree. He taught children to read, shared his poetry, and gave to those who had nothing. By the world's measure, he was poor again, but in his heart, he was free. The villagers knew him simply as Ustad Parizaad, the gentle teacher who smiled softly and spoke with wisdom. His past was a mystery, his wealth a forgotten tale. To the children, he was a guide, to the needy, a helper, to himself, a man at peace. A journalist, once dazzled by his empire, tracked him down years later. Standing beneath the banyan tree, she asked, "Why did you abandon everything?" Parizaad's eyes crinkled with a quiet smile. "I didn't abandon anything," he said. "I found what I was looking for. The rest was just noise." The journalist left, puzzled. But the children, laughing as they read his poems, understood. To them, Parizaad wasn't rich or poor, handsome or plain. He was kind, and that was enough. Moral of the story: Parizaad's life whispers a timeless truth. Your worth isn't in your face, your fortune, or the world's applause. It's in the kindness you show, the strength you carry in silence, and the courage to remain true to your soul. Born into a world that rejected him, Parizaad didn't let it shape him. Instead, he shaped his own legend, not by amassing riches, but by conquering his pain and giving light to others. Please like and subscribe.